Hello everybody, Yom Tov. It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to everybody. I really am sorry about not being here yesterday for you. We're going to chat about movies. But as you can see, I've only started calming down from a face that was literally, well, this eye was totally swollen up and I couldn't hardly see out of it. And there was no way I could have made a video like that. And I'm not feeling 100% either, but I hate letting you down. I really do. So I'm going to try and cram what I can into this video today. Try very hard not to get it past half an hour and do my best. I want to welcome all new people to the Haven. Thank you so much for being here. For whatever reason you've joined the channel. If it is for rants about the Rewired Soul, then you will get rants about the Rewired Soul as and when he does something that I find very problematic. Otherwise, you're just going to have to go with the flow. But when I do say something about him, by God, you're going to know about it. Okay? So today's video I'm going to put into 3 parts. First off, I'm going to tell you about all my favourite movies. So that's something we can talk about in the comments. I've had quite a few messages and that to talk about my crystals and my tarot cards. So I'm going to talk to you about them as well. So if I start now, we should be able to get through the whole lot in half an hour. Okay. So we're going to start off with my favourite movies. I don't have them in any necessary order, but this is what I thought about when I was reading them. Some of them are really old and some of them are more up to date. I started off with the Armageddon, the one with Bruce Willis. I love that because I love the movie anyway. I know it's not scientifically accurate and what have you, but I just thought it was a wonderful video and a great movie. And it was when I got my first DVD player. It was the very first DVD that was bought for me. My hubby bought it for me because I said I love the movie. So that's why that's on there, and it is a wonderful movie. Now I'm following that with Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life. And I love that because I know it's one of the longer movies, but I love the angel Clarence. You know, every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. And he shows how life would have been like if George hadn't lived. So it just goes to show that he had a very important life and it was very well worth living. So that's an important thing for all of us, isn't it? Because he was going to end his life, but then saw what everybody else's life would have been like without him. And it would have been an awful life for everybody. So there you go. My next choice is one of my favourite Bette Davis movies. It's called Mr. Skeffington. And it's basically the story of this socialite, very spoilt socialite, who's so totally invested in how she looks. And her brother is caught up in some financial misdealings. And there is a man called Jacob Skeffington, who is Jewish, who says he will clear the debts, but on one condition, that he marries the woman, whose first name escapes me at the moment. Anyway, so they become Mr. and Mrs. Skeffington. She does not love him. She's got no time for him. She has lots of men hanging around her, always saying how beautiful she is. And as time goes on, as she gets older, she's doing more and more things to keep herself looking young so that all the men will admire her and this sort of thing. And then it ends up with World War II, and Mr. Skeffington has to go to Europe. Anyway, she doesn't think about him, loses track of him, and then the next thing she finds is that he's come back from Europe. It's after the Second World War by now. He was caught up in the camps. He's come back, but he's now totally blind. And he can only remember her as being beautiful. And of course, by this point, she's lost all her good looks. And she falls in love with him based on the fact that he's always loved her. And that for him, she will always be beautiful. So she decides to spend the rest of her life devoted to caring for him. So it's a sad story, but it has its moral and what have you, and I just love it. The next movie is Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg. Now, I love Patrick Swayze. I've also got Dirty Dancing down, because who doesn't love Dirty Dancing? That was a fantastic movie, another great favourite of mine. Love the music in it as well. And of course the music they created to go with it. But I love that movie, Ghost. And the ending where you can feel the love and you can see everybody, and now it's his time to go on, and Oda Mae Brown has helped him all the way through. That's a wonderful movie, is Ghost. And of course another one that I love with Whoopi Goldberg is Sister Act. But the first movie, I wasn't much into Sister Act 2. But Sister Act, I was well into. Absolutely love that movie. And of course you can sing along to all the different, it's hymns that they put into a more modern setting. So Sister Act, fantastic. Now, I'm a great Star Trek fan, as you all know. I have all their movies, all the series. I've got the original series, I've got Next Generation, I've got Deep Space Nine, I've got Voyager, I've got Enterprise, Discovery. I think that's about it, isn't it? I think so. But my all-time favourite Star Trek movie is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I thought Ricardo Montalban was fantastic in that. And by the way, that was his real body. A lot of people thought he wore like a bodysuit for the rippling chest and what have you. No, he had gone and done tough work to give himself a six-pack for that movie. So I thought it was a fantastic movie. And of course there was the horror of Mr. Spock dying at the end. I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed, honestly, when that happened. Because at the time Leonard Nimoy decided that he didn't want to do Star Trek anymore. But I'm glad he saw sense and decided to come back. 3 movies pulled into one here. White Heat, Angels with Dirty Faces, and Yankee Doodle Dandy. All because I love Jimmy Cagney. I learned the song Yankee Doodle Dandy from that movie. And I think it was his Angels with Dirty Faces, where the priest who was in it, Pat O'Brien, he and Jimmy Cagney had grown up together from being at school together. And Pat O'Brien had become a priest, whereas Jimmy, he'd become a bit of a bad boy. And he got this gathering of young boys who were into petty crime and what have you. And this priest wanted the boys to see the light. Well, Jimmy had got caught up in, I think it was a robbery, and a policeman had got shot and killed. And he was going to go to the electric chair. And he'd said he would not beg for his life and nobody would ever see him pleading for his life. And the priest said, if I could convince you to plead for your life, then the boys would see you as a coward and turn against that kind of bad life and turn towards the good. And of course, Jimmy was saying, I'm not pleading for my life to anybody. I'm going to go out, tough guy and what have you. But in the end, you see this silhouette of a man being dragged towards the electric chair. And him going, please, Ma, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I want to live. I'm scared. And, it really tugs at your heart, There's movies that leave their mark on you. And that was one of them. And I don't know whether it was White Heat, where he stood on top of this, big drum, and he was shouting out, look, Ma, I'm at the top of the world. I'm on the top of the world, Ma. That was another one I loved. Airplane 1 and Airplane 2. Love the Airplane movies. Absolutely fantastic. Suits my kind of humour. Looks like I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue. Looks like it was the wrong day to stop smoking. Looks like it was the wrong day, to give up hanging upside down. Whatever it was just funny, Just loved all of it. And of course, in Airplane 2, they had my favourite Captain Kirk in there, talking about never forgetting what happened over Macho Grande. Of course, you've got to watch both movies to know that was a current theme, was what, I'll never get over what happened at Macho Grande. So, anyway, love both those two movies. And then I was thinking about Robin Williams, and my two favourite movies of his are Mrs. Doubtfire, because my kids reckon that his body work looked exactly like me. But I loved Mrs. Doubtfire very much, still do. And the other one was Good Morning Vietnam, and just loved it. Gives you a sort of a snapshot into life for the US soldiers, and of course the Aussie and New Zealand soldiers who were out fighting in Vietnam. So I love that one. And then finally, one of my spooky movies of all time has got to be the version of The Haunting of Hill House with Catherine Zeta-Jones, Luke Wilson. Owen Wilson. Oh yeah, Owen Wilson it is. Him with the blonde hair. And the name of the actress who plays Nell, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, I should remember that, and I can't remember her name. But she's done a few movies. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But it was the best version of that outside of, I think it was the version done in 1960. The Haunting of Hill House. But this next one with Catherine Zeta-Jones in, that was the best one for me. I absolutely love that one. Liam Neeson was in it as well, I believe. So those are all my favourite movies. So I've managed to talk to you about them. So we'll see what you say in the comments about that. Now, just a quick mention about the tarot cards I use and the oracle cards that I use at the moment. I'm saving up to get another pack of oracle cards, but if I'm going to be talking about the ones I use most frequently, is this from this pack here called Tarot of the Haunted House, which is a wonderful deck. And the other deck that I use much more frequently, because I feel with tarot cards, you can't just look at the packet and think, oh yes, well I'll have that, that seems good to me. I've got to feel them call to me. I've got to be able to see if I can work with them, So this is called the Gildan Tarot. That's what the outside looks like. I've got them in a bag from years and years ago. must be about 15 years ago, and my daughter bought this for me. And I got rid of the box and put them straight in the bag. And you can see, I mean, that's the Emperor. The artwork is absolutely fantastic. It's almost like photographs, really, you know. There's other ones, like this one. This one's the Ace of Pentacles. So they're very clear. You can see what you're getting. And believe you me, if you look at the edges of them, they've been well used. You can see how often I've shuffled these over and over the years. This one is the Ace of Swords. Just bringing things to, not necessarily shuffling them, just cutting into them and seeing which ones comes up. So that one's the Ace of Swords there. See if there's another one that comes to mind that I can bring up for you. This one is the Hierophant. This is to do with anything sort of, you know, a religious background or spiritual background. That's the Hierophant there. I say the artwork is fantastic. They're a nice, comfortable size to work with. And I do feel connected to them. These tarot cards have been reissued. There's the new Gilded Tarot, and it's got some extra cards added to it. I may just get them to see what the new cards are and what they're like. I'll show you a couple of pictures from the Haunted House Tarot. This one is from the Major Arcana, and this one is Temperance. You can see it's just two ladies sitting chatting at the bar. Temperance, I mean, it looks, you can also take that as a gossip as well. You don't just think about, well, what's that card say it is, but it's there to interpret what it, you know, really means. I'm trying to find, here's another one for you. This is the Lovers. So as you can see, it's well depicted there. And it's, even though it's against a dark background, and you've got a ghost watching them from the mirror. See, there's ghosts everywhere in the haunted house. So you've got that. I'm trying to think of any other ones that I could show you. That are, that's, oh, this one. This one's the Empress, number 3. She's the Earth Mother. If you can see, she's holding her tummy because she's pregnant. It's just on a slight bulge there. But that's what she's doing there. She's holding up the light and she's holding onto her tummy because she's pregnant. She's like the Earth Mother card, that one there. So again, they're a nice size to hold. I do love the all the pictures. This one's quite obvious. This one is the Chariot. And you can see the car there and the chauffeur. The Chariot, I mean, it has so many different interpretations. It can literally mean anything from the purchase of a car troubles, going on a car journey, or making progress forwards. You know, you think you're making progress, but you're actually going backwards. That sort of thing. And at the moment, what I'm using for oracle cards, and I'm hoping to get another set called the Dark Mirror oracle cards, is I'm using these ones. It's called the Wicca oracle cards, and Again, they come with a booklet to let you know what's happening. They're bigger, slightly wider and bigger than my tarot cards, but you've got some nice pictures in there. You've got a little black cat, a familiar. There's that one. You've got people dancing around some flames. Let's see what else we've got. We've got a chalice here that's overflowing. When I would use that one, I would use it for, if you've got a chalice that's overflowing, it can be talked about in different ways. You could say that, you know, you've got so much happening that's good in your life. It's almost like you've got almost too much to be going on with. Or I would say that your cup overflowing means that you literally are, you know, you're juggling too much. You've got too many things going on that's, you need to take more control of what's happening and have a look at things that you can be doing with and then things that you can't be doing with, and try and get that more balanced. Because with a cup overflowing like that, yes, you can say it's overflowing with all good things, but sometimes even all those good things can be too much to handle at any one time. So again, I'll be talking to them about balance. The other oracle cards I have are called the Zodiac Oracle, and it comes with the usual booklet that these cards tend to come with, and then you get the cards themselves, which are like that on the back. This one at the front, that's, as I say, with it being the Zodiac, that's Sagittarius, but it also comes with the planets as well. I mean, let's see now. I can find. I mean, this one's Aries. There's Aries there. And then you've got, let me see. Air, fire, water. Aquarius. Here's the moon. Sometimes you pull a moon card that can talk about duplicity and things like that happening in your life. This is one for Pluto. It depicts Pluto there. And as I say, there's all manner of other cards. This is Pisces. Have I shown you Pisces before? I don't know whether I have. There's Pisces. And they can be quite colourful. They've all got their own interpretations. And that's, you know, sometimes I've got to keep going back to the book and having a quick look and then tune in and see that if what I'm feeling is real, you know, that sort of thing. Is everything I'm feeling real? And then see what I'm able to pick up along the way. Right, so that's talked a bit about those. Ooh, right. I'll make this quick now. Okay. I want to show you the basics of some of my crystals that you've asked about. Now, we'll start off small. I'm going to show you this piece. This piece here is called selenite. Right? It's about an inch in depth. That's about 2 centimeters. Inch in depth. Nice size to hold. Very fragile. If you drop it, it can literally fragment into pieces. So it's a very fragile stone. But selenite is calming. Very calming. It's good for the soul. Brings you peace. And keeps all negativity. It's like I'm surrounded in this sort of bubble of peace and calm and light. And if you surround yourself with selenite, it says that this is what it's supposed to bring you: peace, calm, serenity, and just keeping you safe. So that's the piece I keep in my handbag, because I do carry it with me. Keep it in a little pouch, just a little sort of like these soft jiffy pouches, just to keep it safe. Then we're moving up to this piece. This piece is just less than a foot long. It's only about that thick. You can see it's been taken rough from the rock. And it's been hewn there, it's snapped off there. So you can tell it's been snapped off. If you look at it there, you can see, how it is easily snapped, as you can see here. But keeping that beside me is also keeping up that barrier against anything nasty coming. And then, oh my goodness, this is a two-hand job. We've got this piece. This piece weighs about 8 pounds, and I think that's 2 pounds, kilo. Let's see. If it's 2 pounds too, the kilo is 2.2 pounds, then that's about 4 kilos. I think that's about 4.5 kilos or 8 pounds, something like that. Anyway, as you can see, it's a lot thicker than the piece I showed you before. You see that bit, the bit of iron that's got through from in the rock. And here's where it's been just rough cut. And it's much thicker than the other piece that I showed you before. It's really heavy. This is about 30 centimetres, this bit. Tremendously heavy. And I must admit that since my girls have been around me, I've had a lot more peace and calmness in my life. And they really do help. I mean, I don't know, people say rocks are rocks, right? But if you believe that stones have power, if you can pick something up and feel something from a stone. Now, as I pick her up, and she's a very feminine stone, by the way, selenite. Not that I'm saying that men can't work with her. Of course they can. Anybody can work with any stone. But sometimes you just feel a calling to different stones. And I'm not called to all of them. I don't necessarily like all of them or feel pulled towards them. But that's just me. I don't like selenite when it's made into a crystal ball or shaped into like an egg or anything like that. To me, that's sort of... I know the selenite's there, but it's been shaped... It should never have been shaped that way. Selenite should, in my personal opinion, this is just all my opinion, should be held in its rough form. Because that's how you find it in the caves. So, hold it the way it was intended. The other stuff, the polished stuff, it's pretty. But it's not the way it intended. Now, saying all of that, I needed to get myself some black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is between that and shungite, mostly elite shungite, are your absolute best barriers towards negativity. And I could only get this big boy and this big boy. They are boulders, polished boulders. And you can see this is the heavier one of the two. This weighs easily about 3 to 4 pounds. This is about a couple of pounds. These are supposed to be beside your computer. and supposedly it's supposed to keep any negativity coming from, whether it's the waves that come from computers or phones or whatever it is, that's supposed to keep you protected. And it gives you a real barrier. Now, between black tourmaline, my selenite, it's like when people come into my home, I've got my selenite barrier there, but they also end up taking any bad vibes they've got, they take them with them, so they don't leave anything behind. The black tourmaline ensures that they don't leave anything behind, and that no bad vibes can hurt me. And the selenites, they're the same. And because I keep them beside my computer, it's alleged that it is supposed to keep negativity at its bay. And I must admit, just me personally, having over the last few weeks, I've had them there, and things have definitely felt better for me. So there, that's helped. Another stone that I love is smoky quartz. Smoky quartz, I'll get the words out. You know me every time. Smoky quartz is another one. Great healing stone. Great for dreaming. It's also a healing stone. Supposedly it's supposed to be very good for, downstairs. That sort of thing. With water and stuff like that. It's supposed to be very good for that. It's got some fantastic properties. Another one of my absolute favourites, I'm going to show you the one that's got the most colour in it first, is labradorite. Don't know whether you can see all the colours, but you see all the blues and that in there. Aren't they just fantastic? You look at that, and depending on how you hold it, I mean, it looks like it's almost gold in there. But if you turn it another way, you can't see it at all. You maybe see some blue. So you go that side, and that's where you majority see the blue. And then you go the other side, and that's where you tend to see the gold. So this piece I can hold in my hand when I meditate. And I use my selenite for meditating as well. I've also got a great big hewn chunk of labradorite. There's not much in the way of big lights with this one. It all depends on how you catch the light with it. This light's not the best. But this is, you can tell it's hewn from the rock. There, that's the rough side of it. And it's funny because it's almost shaped like a triangle, And for all it's heavy, it's just nice to hold in the palms of your hands. This is supposed to be very good to keep around your cards if you're doing tarot work. I'm not psychic by any stretch of the imagination, but it does help me pick up on things because I'm an empath. I feel and sense things with people. I've been an empath my whole life. And even sometimes when people write things down, I can feel them while they're doing it. I know it sounds really weird and a bit strange, but another stone that I work with my tarot is blue kyanite. That's another lovely stone. That's supposed to help with readings and interpretations and any psychic work. It's supposed to be, I've heard a lot of psychics use blue kyanite to help them enhance their abilities. And they're supposed to be very, very good for if you want to be if you want to train to be more psychic, that's a stone you would use. This is the black shungite I was telling you about. Now, elite shungite looks like this. This is like 80 to 90% pure shungite, right? That's the elite shungite. The 50% shungite looks like coal. But they are both absolutely fantastic for keeping negativity away from you, especially when you're using anything that's got waves of transmissions like you do from computers, your phone, you know, anything like that. So it's absolutely excellent for calming those waves down. So including the time that I've had that around me, that's really helped things. Now, yes, it could be a coincidence. Obviously, yes, it can be. But I don't know. It just seems to me that recently things have been going better for me. Right, now some other bits you might just be interested in. This is amethyst. You can see it there. From the rough hewn. You can see it from the rock. And that's a bit of raw amethyst for you. Now here's something that I didn't know. Amethyst, well, we'll start off properly. Citrine is made from amethyst. If you find a rock that's got the base looks purple like this, and then it starts off yellow, the yellow part is citrine, and that comes because it's been naturally heated by the sun's rays. And obviously the deeper the yellow, and then it goes to brown and what have you, but that's natural citrine. You can get citrine that's been artificially heated through being placed in a furnace. That's the stuff that everybody seems to get these days that's cheaper. Sun treated citrine is much, much harder to get. Apparently the price of it has skyrocketed. I certainly couldn't afford a piece like that. What I do have, I've got a bag of well, I did have until it fell on the floor. Anyway, I've got some natural pieces of citrine that I've had for quite a while, and they would have been before. These are not warm treated. These are sun treated. These aren't the ones put in the furnace. Some of the sun treated ones can be very, very pale, like this piece here. You can see how pale that is, but that's natural citrine. I've had that a while. I certainly couldn't afford to buy them now. I'll tell you that for nothing. Oh, I've got another piece here that shows you just how dark they can get. There. Now, if I can show you that properly. But there's a piece. See how much darker it can get. Almost orange in colour. Citrine is one of the greatest healers for the body going. It's great at absorbing up all the bad energies, all the awful stuff. That combined with this crystal here, which is clear quartz. If you combine clear quartz, which is a master healer, with citrine, which is an all-round healer, you place these stones on or near the body, and they do make you feel better. Because I've had that myself when I've been lying down. Well, the days when I could lie down flat. Or if you just lay back on pillows, place them on your forehead, and just have a little nap. And just either take them off your head or let them fall off naturally. And you'll wake up, you won't have a headache anymore. You'll be able to think a bit more clearly. Everything will be a lot better. This is another stone of mine, lapis lazuli. I've got 3 pieces, but this is the biggest piece. So that's lapis lazuli. That's supposed to be great with psychic and tarot reading work as well. That's what I tried to do, was keep stones around me that would help me with things like that. Like, believe it or not, that's rose quartz. I know it's very, very pale pink, but that's rose quartz, and that's obviously the stone for love. If I was doing a love reading for someone, then I'd gather my rose quartz and place that on the table near me to see what influence I can bring from the crystals towards the reader. This is a little bit of proper green jade, Chinese jade. That's supposed to be very good for the throat chakra, which is about here. And that's supposed to be very good for being able to speak your truth, to being able to, you know how you can offload about things and talk about things that are so important, and it's speaking your own truth, getting your point across. Well, this stone, if you say if you had it in your pocket or you held it in your hand, or even if you started speaking, if you could have it about there, and it would help you speak your truth. You know, if you were lying down and if you wanted to connect more with your psychic energies, you could hold on to a piece of labradorite, and you could have a piece of lapis lazuli on your third eye there. You could have that there, and, you know, go off into a meditation with that. These two here, the final ones I want to show you. I mean, I do have lots of crystals, but these are the major ones that I work with. These are my Lemurian crystals. And they've got lots and lots of lines going up one side. They're called striations. You can just about make them out there. Lots and lots and lots of lines. And these striations, so it's said, hold the all the memories of the Lemurians when they were alive, because apparently they placed all their knowledge into crystals about life in Lemuria. Now, I've never been able to do any of this, but I've read a lot about people who have been able to go into a deep trance meditation, and they've been able to contact beings who have put their learning and what have you and their wisdom into these stones, and then they'll write down somebody will write down everything they say when they're in this trance. Now, like I say, I've never seen anybody do it. I've read a lot about people who have done it. I've gone into meditation with them. Unfortunately, I haven't had anything. Now, that's not to say that it's not real. Maybe I'm not on the same wavelength. A lot of people who work with all these crystals are very much higher on the spiritual food chain, for want of a better expression. I use my crystals to protect me. They're there to protect my family. I mean, the pieces that I've got are big enough to protect the whole house. So any negativity they may get is now minimal. So I'm very happy to say that. I use my crystals to help with readings. I also use them if I'm in a meditation, or if I've got a headache or bad pain somewhere. I'll place the Master Healer on that, alongside some pain meds. So I don't know which is helping me more, but look, whatever helps to take the pain away, I'll shake it by the hand, you know. So anyway, guys, I've gone way over, and I'm gonna have to call it a day. So again, I'm deeply sorry that I wasn't with you yesterday, but it is what it is. I'm trying to make up for it today. Thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you again, everybody, for watching. I really am very, very grateful. I will be back again tomorrow, hopefully looking a bit better, with the story of Paul Bunyan, an American folk hero. So, and that's going to be for our Michael to open it. Beloved Havener. So we look forward to seeing Michael tomorrow and dedicating the video to him, because he deserves it. He's a lovely lad. We're very, very glad and lucky to have him here. So my love as always to all of you. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye for now.